The TikTok China uses is not the TikTok you know. While you're scrolling through dance challenges and viral pranks at 2 a.m., Chinese kids are watching science experiments and museum tours. And their app shuts off after 40 minutes. Same company, same technology, completely different worlds. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, hit that subscribe button and join the Trust Me fam crew. We're about to expose something wild. Here's what'll blow your mind. TikTok is technically banned in China. I know. The app was literally invented in Beijing. But Chinese citizens can't download TikTok. They can't see your videos. Your million followers? Invisible in China. It's like you exist in a parallel universe. Instead, they use Douyin, which translates to shaking sound. It launched in September 2016, a full year before TikTok went international. Douyin blew up fast, hitting 100 million users in just 1 year. ByteDance, the parent company, looked at that success and thought, let's take this global. So in September 2017, they launched TikTok for the rest of the world. Then in November 2017, they bought Musical.ly for nearly $1 billion and merged it with TikTok. Boom. Global domination. But here's where it gets interesting. ByteDance deliberately keeps these apps completely separated. We're not talking about regional versions of the same app. These are two distinct platforms that don't talk to each other at all. A creator in Shanghai with 5 million Douyin followers? 0 TikTok followers. A TikTok star in Los Angeles? Doesn't exist on Douyin. The content libraries are completely walled off. Chinese content stays in China. International content stays out. And trust me fam, this wasn't an accident. This was strategic from day one. Okay, so they look identical, right? Same interface, same vertical video format, same addictive swipe-up motion. But open them side by side, and you'll spot something that should terrify you. The automatic beauty filter. On Douyin, the moment you turn on the camera, your face changes. Smooth skin, bigger eyes, slimmer face. It's automatic. You can't turn it off. TikTok has beauty filters too, but you have to select them. On Douyin, the algorithm assumes you need to look better by default. And when you consider that plastic surgery in China more than doubled between 2014 and 2017, you start to see how the app reinforces impossible beauty standards. The 40-minute wall. Now let's talk about the most shocking difference. Chinese kids under 14 can only use Douyin for 40 minutes per day. That's it. And only between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. After 10 p.m., the app literally kicks them off. Meanwhile, American teenagers are averaging an hour and 25 minutes per day on TikTok. 17 app opens daily. No limits. No curfews. No governors on the dopamine slot machine. China also has a mandatory youth mode for anyone under 14. It's enabled by default. You can't bypass it. And here's what youth mode looks like. The algorithm shows educational content. Science experiments using household items. Museum exhibits. Historical explainers. Language learning videos. STEM content. Content promoting civic responsibility and, surprise, patriotism. The algorithm literally filters out pranks, superstitions, dance clubs, and what the Chinese government calls unhealthy views on marriage and love. They even ban certain live streaming content for minors, including anything they consider promoting money worship or toxic behavior. There's even a 5-second forced pause between videos to reduce addiction. The app literally tells kids, put down the phone, go to bed, work tomorrow. And parents? They get detailed reports on their kids' usage. But they can't override the system. The controls are baked in by the government, not optional. The content divide. Search for anything on both apps. Same keywords. Completely different results. On TikTok, you get viral trends, challenges, thirst traps, hot takes, and chaos. On Douyin, you get propaganda supporting the Chinese Communist Party, educational content, e-commerce live streams, and patriotic messaging. Search Tiananmen 1989 on TikTok and you'll find historical content. Try it on Douyin and nothing. Censored. Gone. Pro-LGBTQ content. Regularly removed from Douyin for presenting what they call unhealthy and non-mainstream views. On TikTok, it's thriving with millions of creators. Criticism of the government? Instantly deleted on Douyin. On TikTok, political commentary from all sides is everywhere. One podcaster described it perfectly. Douyin for adults is basically the same as TikTok. Funny skits, guitar videos, people showing off their lives, except with Communist Party propaganda sprinkled in and zero alternative viewpoints on controversial topics. Now we get to the part that keeps U.S. officials up at night. The data goldmine. TikTok collects a staggering amount of data. Location, contacts, browsing history, device information, keystroke patterns, biometric data like face prints and voice prints. It's not that different from what Facebook or Google collect, but here's the problem. Under Chinese law, specifically the National Intelligence Law and counter-espionage laws, Chinese companies must cooperate with government intelligence operations when requested. Not if, when. TikTok says they've never shared U.S. user data with the Chinese government. But in 2022, we learned that ByteDance employees in China repeatedly accessed non-public data about U.S. TikTok users. BuzzFeed obtained leaked audio from 80 internal TikTok meetings where employees said everything was visible in China. TikTok's response: Project Texas, a plan to store U.S. data on Oracle servers in Texas, theoretically making it inaccessible to China. Sounds great, except Chinese engineers still need access to update and maintain the app. And every update is a potential backdoor. FBI Director Christopher Wray put it bluntly. The Chinese government could use TikTok to collect data on millions of users and manipulate what Americans see. The influence operation. But data theft isn't even the scariest part. It's algorithmic manipulation. Think about it. The same company that programs Douyin to show Chinese kids science experiments and patriotic content controls what 170 million Americans see on TikTok. The algorithm decides what goes viral, what trends, what narratives spread. Senator Ted Cruz called TikTok a Trojan horse the Chinese Communist Party can use to influence what Americans see, hear, and ultimately think. China already does this domestically. Douyin's algorithm for minors emphasizes content that aligns with Chinese cultural values and Communist Party interests. Why wouldn't they use that same capability internationally? During the Israel-Gaza conflict, TikTok became flooded with one-sided content. Was that organic? Was that Chinese influence? Nobody knows for sure, and that's exactly the problem. The nuclear option. And here's the truly wild part. TikTok is installed on hundreds of millions of phones. Every update, every patch, is Chinese software being pushed directly to American devices. Cybersecurity experts warn this creates potential for malware injection that could activate during a geopolitical crisis. Imagine if tensions between the US and China escalate. Taiwan gets invaded. What stops China from activating something hidden in a TikTok update? Tracking locations of military personnel? Disabling communications? Spreading disinformation during a critical moment? Sounds like a movie plot, but experts say the risk is real. Here's what really grinds my gears. China understands exactly how dangerous this technology is. That's why they regulate Douyin so heavily at home. They limit kids to 40 minutes because they know it's addictive. They filter content because they know algorithms shape worldviews. They monitor everything because they know the data is valuable. Then they ship an unrestricted version overseas and act shocked when people raise concerns. It's like a tobacco company that bans smoking in their headquarters but floods foreign markets with cigarettes. Chinese regulators moved fast when they saw problems. Video game addiction? Kids under 18 can now only play 1 hour on Fridays, weekends, and holidays. Social media concerns? Instant restrictions. Privacy issues with tech companies? New laws within months. Meanwhile, the U.S. Congress can barely agree on lunch, let alone comprehensive data privacy legislation. We have no national rules on how much screen time is healthy for kids. No requirements for algorithmic transparency. No meaningful data protection laws. China created 2 versions of the same app, one to strengthen their youth, one to, well, we don't really know what the end game is for TikTok, but it's definitely not to strengthen American kids. Now, before the comments section explodes, let's be real about a few things. First, American social media companies aren't saints. Facebook's own research showed Instagram harms teen mental health, and they buried it. YouTube's algorithm has radicalized people. Twitter is a dumpster fire. American companies chase engagement and profit over everything else too. Second, there's no public evidence that TikTok has actually shared data with the Chinese government or been used for large-scale influence operations. The concerns are about capability and potential, not confirmed actions. Third, even if we ban TikTok, China can still buy American data from the hundreds of data brokers who sell it legally. Your location, browsing history, app usage, it's all for sale to the highest bidder. Banning one app doesn't fix the broader privacy disaster that is the American internet. And fourth, 170 million Americans use TikTok. Small businesses make money there. Creators build careers there. Communities form there. A ban would hurt real people who've done nothing wrong. But here's the thing. Just because American companies are also problematic doesn't mean TikTok isn't a unique threat. Two things can be true at once. The difference is that Mark Zuckerberg can't be disappeared by the U.S. government if he doesn't cooperate. ByteDance executives can be by theirs. American companies operate under U.S. law with court oversight and transparency requirements. Chinese companies operate under Chinese law with, well, whatever the Communist Party says. Conclusion. So what's the answer? Honestly, there isn't a clean one. Banning TikTok treats the symptom, not the disease. The real problem is that we live in a world where apps know more about us than our closest friends, where algorithms shape reality, and where no country, not America, not China, nobody, has figured out how to make social media serve humanity instead of exploiting it. China's answer is authoritarian control. Everything monitored, everything restricted, everything in service of state interests. That protects their kids from some harms, but at the cost of freedom, privacy, and independent thought. America's answer is basically, let the market figure it out, which means tech companies optimize for addiction and profit, while regulators slowly figure out what decade they're in. Maybe the truth is somewhere in between. Real data privacy laws, algorithmic transparency, age-appropriate restrictions that parents can actually enforce, international cooperation on digital rights. But right now, we're watching a slow-motion car crash where one country weaponizes social media against itself, looking at you, America, while another weaponizes it against others, China, and both pretend everything is fine. The TikTok China uses is not the TikTok you use. And that gap, between what they protect their kids from and what they serve to yours, tells you everything you need to know about how they view this technology. It's not a toy. It's not just entertainment. It's a tool of influence, control, and economic power. If this video made you think twice about that midnight scroll session, smash that like button and subscribe to Trust Me Fam. We're exposing the uncomfortable truths everyone else is too scared to talk about. Drop a comment. Should the US ban TikTok or just copy China's youth protections? Let's debate. And remember, whether you're on TikTok, Douyin, or Carrier Pigeon, stay critical, stay informed, and never trust an algorithm to tell you what to think. Peace, fam.